A place doesn't necessarily have to dictate what you can and cannot do as a musician. However, whatever and whoever is around you does make a difference, both mentally and musically. Can you be a musician in a small city? I'm gonna talk to you about my experience, what I think of it, and how I navigated this situation. This is the first video where I'm talking to the camera for probably most of the video. I've just moved to the UK. I'm in Scotland, in Edinburgh. I moved from Port St. Lucie, Florida. You probably didn't know where I lived, but if you follow me for the whole experience on Instagram, TikTok, etc., you probably saw that I was living in a place that was a lot sunnier. I was never wearing long sleeves. So that's where I was living. You've probably heard of Florida because of its theme parks and beaches, which is famous for, and which actually I got to enjoy before I came to Edinburgh. I went to Universal, to Island of Adventure. It was really fun. I also got to enjoy some time in the sun at the beach. It was actually really cold the day that my family and I went to the beach as a farewell. It was beautiful nonetheless. This is Port St. Lucie, probably the smallest city I've lived in terms of music scene and cultural activity. I lived in Port St. Lucie for 2 years, then moved to Edinburgh as a student during the pandemic, and then had to go back for an indefinite amount of time that turned out to be 6 months before I came back to Edinburgh and moved, this time able to work full-time. Going back to the question, can you be a musician in a small city? I have to say that I don't think there's a right or wrong answer, because the answer will be different depending on what your idea of being a musician is. I had a few reasons to move away from Port St. Lucie, and no, none of those reasons, including the sun, the beach, the heat, I do miss the warmth. If you are thinking about moving, or you have done so in the past, you've probably asked yourself questions like, can I move? Would I move? And am I willing to make compromises? And if you're a musician or an artist, what music scene do I want? And that's the place where I'm going to have that music scene. Big cities have a variety of music scenes going on, and it's more likely that you will find the music scene that you are after, be it a songwriting community or an electronic music scene or a jazz music scene. This variety of music scenes, it's a lot harder to get in smaller cities. In my experience, things that I took for granted before, like finding band members or finding gigs to play solo with bands or singers and playing other people's original music and recording my own original music, became a lot more challenging. It could be the lack of a network, which is really hard to come by when you're moving from city to city. A network takes time, but I also think that in my experience in smaller cities, the music scene can be very restricted to cover bands and self-accompanying singers. Even though places like this can be paradise to live in, and you might have other reasons to be there, like family, as I did, it's hard for the music to happen outside of your bedroom. At least that's what was happening to me. However, come to think of it, if you're in a small city and you've not found the music scene that you want, there's a few things that you can do. Social media can be one of the best outlets for your music. I certainly know it was my savior during the whole of the pandemic, then the time where I've not really settled somewhere, I've struggled to find find musicians. I turn to social media and I'm actually able to be part of a music scene, to find people that I resonate with, to pour out my creativity and share things about my process and be part of a community and grow that community. And I think that's extremely invaluable, and it's a great tool. If we don't have access to a local music scene, well, that's a great alternative. What I'm saying is you can find a music scene online if you don't find it in your surroundings. However, one of the reasons why I moved here is because I also want to be part of a local scene. I think that being able to hear other musicians, to hear what other people are doing in different styles, in your own style, have the potential to get gigs and get together with other people is going to enrich the musical experience much more than if you only do that online, although it's not bad at all. The past 3 years, if I had not had social media, they would have been completely different. I've actually evolved a lot through sharing. It's been a great outlet. Personally, I want to keep finding my music scene online, and I also want to be part of a local music scene, which is why I'm very excited to be here in Edinburgh. Anyway, if you've moved or you've considered moving and you have music gear, this is a question I've been asked about a lot. How do you travel with your gear? Did you travel with all your gear? What happened, etc. So if you've seen videos from me before, I'm Elan there. Most of my videos have 3 Moog synthesizers that they're on a rack, so they're all together. I have a mixer, my laptop interface, a pedal, and that's what I show the most. I also have 2 keyboards. The first time I came to Edinburgh, I brought my 2 keyboards. I have an Orlid A1 and an Ord Electro. Back then, I didn't have my synthesizers like the Moogs. I didn't have them, but what I did is I bought hard cases, which I highly recommend. These were not made specifically for my keyboards, so I just found what was likely to hold them safer. You kind of play around with these blocks inside so you can make them be nice and snug. I'm gonna show you. I don't know if you can see it. So this is a hard case. Well, they are heavy, but they're really good. I had 2 of those, put my keyboards in it, made them snug, protected the keyboard with some clothes and stuff. At the airport, the process is very similar. You do have to take those cases through a different door. They will tell you where, just because it doesn't fit in the normal checked baggage. But it's a very easy process. You pay extra for the bags. That's how I moved my keyboards. My synthesizers, I'm actually very protective of. So the approach there was a bit different. Since I had 3, I just took them out of the rack. Then I packed them individually. So I have cases for each of them, soft cases though. So I packed 2 on my hand luggage, which I can take on the cabin. There were 2 synthesizers there. They fitted perfectly on that case. One I didn't have a soft case for, so I wrapped it in bubble wrap and I put it on my backpack. So you can take 2 items, a hand luggage and a personal item, which for me is a backpack. So I put it on my backpack along with my pedal. Then all the leads and cables I did send on the checked baggage, just because it gets really heavy, but I try to keep it all with me. What went on the checked baggage, which is actually hard to let go of, was the mixer, interface, headphones, stuff like that. I did insure my checked baggage. You just purchase travel insurance and you make sure that the one you have doesn't have limitations for electronic devices. The maximum amount I could find for a good price was an insurance that covers up to $2,500 of what you have. I got that, but luckily I did not have to use it. Now we're reaching the end of the video, but I just want to recap and say that I don't think there's any place that is the perfect place. There's always compromises and there's always things that you can do. It might not be exactly what you want to be doing in that moment, but try to use it to your advantage is the only thing I can say. We all get frustrated, desperate. We all want to keep going, but well, that's what we need to do to keep going. I've officially moved to Edinburgh now, post-pandemic, able to work full-time, and very excited about what this city might bring me. If you live in a small city, what has your experience been? I'm curious to know what your experiences as artists or musicians has been in whatever place you might be watching this from. Please leave your thoughts in the comments. Let me know if there's anything you'd like to know that you think I can answer. If you like the video, please comment, subscribe. It helps me as I am trying to grow this channel and hopefully make it more useful and entertaining. I'm Lander and I'll keep the music coming. You've been listening to my single It Could Be Okay, and you can stream it on digital platforms and wherever you get your music from. I leave you the link in the description below. Please feel free to follow me also on Spotify and the rest of my social media outlet. The content is different, I share different things, and you can have the whole experience like that. I bet this thing is already so cold. Could be worse. I have squeaky boots. I really like them.